This is going to be a lengthy video, so I will drop the full clip on my YouTube channel for you to go check it out at Dags Realty on YouTube. But on Monday, 6th of July 2026, the Minister of Works, Engineer Dave Umahi, paid a visit to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road to assess the impact of the coastal road on the communities along the coastal road that are experiencing severe flooding, particularly the Ologolo Ilasan axis. And after the meeting, there was a stakeholders meeting at the Eco Hotel where the Hitech boss was able to break down the issues surrounding the severe flooding. So in this video, I'm just going to take the key things he said as the cause of the flooding and make some comments about it. Let's listen.
Your Excellency, this video can show what is on ground as of yesterday, and we can speak a little bit about it. This area is by nature of building. It's lower than the northern side. For ease of reference, let us take that the Atlantic Ocean is on the southern side of the coastal highway, and the lagoon is at the northern side of the coastal highway in order to have the proper directions.
Now let's pause there for a moment. He's saying that the buildings on the right side, if you're coming from VI accessing the coastal road, the buildings on the right side, which is the southern direction, by building is lower than what is recommended. He will make further reference to this as the video goes along.
So if you look at this particular point, the coastal highway has been constructed with the cross culverts to take the water from the southern part to the northern part of the coastal highway. This area was built without respecting the norms by not elevating or filling the area. It was built just to be built immediately.
Pay close attention to what he says, because I saw this video on X and the interpretation people were giving to it was just unbelievable. Nigerians have a serious comprehension problem. He was saying that the areas developed around this point were developed without following the norms. And what was the norms he was talking about? Elevating and filling the estates to a reasonable level before commencing construction. That seems like a simple thing. You're supposed to take an appropriate road level and fill to that point before commencing construction. That norm was not followed.
The cross culverts were built in order to divert the water from the southern side to the northern side of the coastal highway. And once you will visit the sites, and if you have any access to that area, you will see that the culverts were constructed at the lowest point possible in order to divert that water from the south to the north.
Let me explain what he's saying. So they have created cross culverts, which are like storm drains, or let's just call it big drainages, right? To take water from communities that are closest to the ocean, which is the south, into canal systems and drainages on the other side, which is the north, towards the lagoon. Here's where the problem lies. Because the norms were not followed in the estates built on the south, the norms were not followed in elevating the estates. Water from those estates from the south cannot flow through the cross culverts to the northern side towards the lagoon. That is number one problem. And notice he said they have built those cross culverts at the lowest possible point under the coastal road.
The water has to be moving from the south to the north, as I described earlier, but if you look at it properly, you will see the water is stagnant. It means that there is no any discharge of the water from the northern side towards the lagoon. And this is beyond the coastal highway.
Again, listen to what he says. The water is supposed to discharge towards the lagoon through canals, through drainages, but that is not happening. So the water is stagnant at those communities that are currently complaining. And at this point, it goes beyond the remit of the coastal highway construction. It becomes a job for the Lagos state government to ensure that its canals and drainages are well connected and they are open and distilling into the lagoon. This is what we said in the latest episode of our podcast, Square Meter Stories.
So what you now see whenever it's rainy season is kind of like a backlog of all the legalities that may have happened in the dry season. For example, canals have not been desilted. It basically is getting rid of all the deposits of sand, mud, and all those things that have clogged the entire pathway, of water, so to speak. When water doesn't flow, when water stagnates, is the result of where you see, flooding. Even places like Ikate, parts of Lekki, are not ideally supposed to flood. You have canals that run through Lekki Phase 1.
Let's get back to listening to the Hitech boss break down the issues.
Most of these areas were blocked by refuse and in the absence of adequate drainage to take the water all the way to the lagoon or to the major waterways. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you can see the refuse on both sides of the road. Those refuse, they are there despite the fact that the ministry, together with the contractor Hitech, we have removed over 1 million cubic meters of refuse from that area. And those refuse, they are still persisting there. It means that there is no discipline in our discharge of refuse. We have to respect the environment for the environment to assist us. We need to clean all the waterways. We need to clean all the areas. We need to clean all the culverts. If we don't clean it, water will be always stagnant. What you are seeing now, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is estates being flooded on the northern side of the corridor. You can see the corridor of the expressway. And on the northern side, all this area does not have anything to do with the coastal highway. This area should, by nature and by law of Lagos State, should be discharged naturally directly to the lagoon side. And you can see all the waterlogged areas which does not have anything to do with the coastal highway. I'm not here to defend the coastal highway. There are more experts to defend that. I'm here just to show facts and videos describing what's happening within the estates far away from the coastal highway. Some of the areas that are located southern side of the coastal highway, they were built on low terrain. Once you have a permit to build your buildings, your infrastructure, your house, you should immediately think of how to discharge your water based on the laws and rules of Lagos State government, which means that you have to raise your land, take it by gravity to wherever there is an outlet. So if you see within all the areas by the south of the coastal highway, you can see some of the areas that has been filled, they are fully dry, whereas the areas that are still naturally without any filling, you see the water cannot climb upward. And we cannot put a culvert at the lowest point, because then the road will lose its own purpose and the drainage will lose its own purpose. So you can see all those areas, they are on the northern part of the coastal highway, which we can no longer be in control of it.
So you see, the problem here has been decades of doing the wrong thing. You have estates that have been built without getting proper drainage permits, estates with drainages that lead nowhere, estates that are blocking canals. So the problem is just a myriad, but it is salvageable if the Lagos State government will stand up and do the right thing. Clear the canals. And in clearing the canals, please evacuate all the debris, evacuate the water hyacinth, evacuate all the sand you've packed out from the canals away from the canals. Don't drop it by the side of the canals and then rainwater washes it back into the canals. This work depends on the Lagos State government. Refuse itself constitutes a very minute aspect of what is causing the current severe flooding that we are witnessing. A major cause of it is blocked canals, blocked drainages, and drainages that leads nowhere. And this is exactly what we said in the latest episode of our podcast, Square Meter Stories.
The coastal road itself is actually throwing more light to the fact that certain areas have no drainage plan. Water is not supposed to drain towards the road. That's not how it works.
Yes.
People feel like, oh, I mean, because the coastal road is elevated, our communities are flooding right now because it is blocking. No, water actually would flow where appropriate drainage systems have been established. So what you're seeing as flooding in major parts where water levels are so high is just exposing the fact that drainage systems are absent or they haven't yet been fully deployed to follow the drainage master plan of Lagos State.